We all agree that obesity is a multifactorial issue, hugely complex. The best visual description that I've seen of the different factors which lead to obesity is this, a map done by the Foresight report done for the UK government, which identifies the numerous different elements which may lead to overweight and obesity. There are 106 different influences there, one of which at the top is food marketing communications, just as one element of 106. Now, that doesn't mean that marketers abdicate responsibility, because marketing has an impact on food choice, food consumption and food preferences. Of course it does. Otherwise, marketers wouldn't spend a great deal of money promoting their products. But as a proportion of the totality of different elements which lead to obesity, it's clearly a minor factor. And all the research and academic empirical evidence demonstrates that I think there's consensus around the fact that food marketing has a modest impact on food choice and food preferences.
That said, what role do you see for the advertising industry when it comes to creating more awareness of the foodstuffs that people eat?
Well, listen, what's absolutely clear is that what I said is that we're not abdicating responsibility here. We all agree, whether it's regulators, whether it's consumer groups, whether it's the companies themselves or consumers, that we need to limit the marketing of high-fat, salt and sugar advertising, particularly to vulnerable consumers, namely children. This is the reason why we have developed a vision of responsibility which changes how companies how they advertise, i.e. what marketing techniques they employ, but also what they advertise to children, children under 12 years old. This has led us, on one hand, to develop codes of conduct which implement qualitative restrictions to how marketers market their foods, to effectively ensure that they're not misleading consumers, they're not undermining parental authority, that they're not representing snacks as meals, and so on and so on. And on the other hand, we are adopting quantitative restrictions to ensure that children are exposed to considerably less high-fat, salt and sugar marketing and more better-for-you marketing, so as to promote better behavioural habits and help parents in their efforts to promote healthier lifestyles. This second element is what we call the EU Pledge, and the EU Pledge we launched in Europe in 2009, which limits significantly food marketing of certain products to children under 12 on TV, print and internet, and following the migration as well to digital media, we are developing means in which we can do the same for company-owned websites and digital marketing communications.
You heard this afternoon at this workshop from Berg, from several companies, also from the European Parliament, the European Commission. What feeling, what conclusion do you walk away with here?
Well, I'm reassured. I think we all have the same interests in mind. We all agree to the overarching objective is that we need to find a sense of proportionality in this broader debate. I don't think anyone's necessarily focusing on marketing as the one quick fix in this whole puzzle, and that was certainly clear from the regulators, from the European Parliament, from the Commission, and even from the consumer groups. They don't believe that there's a silver bullet here in trying to address the marketing issue. But we do all agree that we need to help parents promote healthier lifestyles, particularly amongst their children. And that means limiting certain food marketing to children. And this is what the companies have done. Some companies like Coca-Cola, Ferrero, Mars have stopped advertising to under 12s. Other companies have developed strict nutritional criteria to define what are better-for-you products and are only advertising those better-for-you products to children under 12. What we heard from the consumer organisation, they said this is great, this is a step in the right direction. OK, this is the beginning of a journey, there may be things that we can do to go further, and we're exploring those. For instance, moving into digital media, how we cover company websites and so on. And they think they accepted that, and they consider this, in their words, absolutely a step in the right direction. Regulators agree with this as well, both the Commission and the Parliament. So I'm reassured that we're all looking, we're on the same playing field. We're all trying to achieve the same objectives here.
One of the issues that came up this afternoon, that's my final question, was that Coca-Cola, the private sector, basically is signaling that it's willing to work with the European Union with other stakeholders here to together help inform the consumers about the products that are being advertised, and also to understand the information system that is behind it. Where do you think this is going to lead?
Listen, when I show the map here and you see the 106 different influences, what's clear is that obesity is a multifactorial complex problem, and that means that it's not either or, it's always and. Effectively, only all of society can address this issue. It won't take sporadic efforts by the regulator, by industry, by consumer groups and by consumers themselves. We need to create an environment in which the healthy choice is the right choice. That means that everyone needs to act together. Now, everyone can operate in their own fields, but ultimately the ability and the capacity of actors pulling together and trying to pull in the right direction, I think is a good one. And here the word is partnerships. I think Coca-Cola was calling for trying to identify areas in which different stakeholders can pull together and identify activities which they can undertake together to try and have a multiplier effect. And this is clearly something that we are exploring within the remit of the EU Platform for Action on Diet, Physical Activity and Health, and in other fora as well, where the Commission, the regulators are bringing together different consumer groups and public health groups and industry to identify good practices where we can pull together for the benefit of the European consumer.